Well, this morning, I mean, every day's got to count. So this morning at 8 o'clock in the morning, there were about 10 of us that were out in front of the U.S. Treasury.
All right.
I mean, it is the first day after the weekend where we find out it's going to be a bailout of $700 billion for all of these corporations, the stock market leaders and all of this. So we decided we'd get our little banners. We made them up last night. Pennies for the people, billions for the billionaires. Wall Street, let's see, something about Wall Street, no, Main Street. Who do you care for, Wall Street or Main Street? And we had, I was George Bush. I had a little George Bush face on, and I had a bucket, and it said the bailout bucket on it. And it had some printed bills on it. We'd used them the previous week on this oil, getting in bed with the oil companies. We'd taken a bed out in front of the U.S. Capitol and had people dressed up in great oil suits and ties and all that, and they were in bed with the Congress. Oh, it was cute. It was cute. But we had some leftover money, the printed up money that, going to Kinko's is really the way we ought to go ahead and get our money, because it just Xerox your dollar bills, because those are worth as much as just that real one in your pocket. I mean, they aren't now worth the money they're printed on, the paper they're printed on. So here we had these paper bills, and we were standing there, and I had my little bailout bucket and the thing of George Bush, and as all of these Treasury Department officials were coming in at 8:30 for work, and they were streaming in. They had their little briefcases and walking through with their super-duper little suits, and here we were. Hey, bailout. Oh, we need to get $70 billion by noon. $70 billion to bail out the billionaires. Can't you offer a little something? Please just put it into the bailout bucket. Please, we need your help. I'm George Bush. I live next door. I need your help. We got to raise these $70 billion, for the billionaires. They've somehow gone bankrupt again. Please help. Well, we did that for about an hour and a half, and it was really interesting. There were a lot of Treasury people that I think are a little bit chagrined about what's going on, that they cannot believe themselves what's happening. And one would hope, as David said, we hope that a couple of them will stand up and say something, that might even resign over this. I mean, there are some times that staying around with a corrupt criminal organization that is doing things to the world, to us, that we know are criminal acts. I mean, I hope we do get some resignations off this. Tomorrow we'll probably be up at the U.S. Congress to do the same thing, to remind the Congress as they come back from their weekend vacation that they will be voting on this sometime soon. And there better be some accountability in that. And handing a blank check to the Secretary of Treasury to let him do anything he wants to, as far as once we nationalize, buy out all of these companies. I mean, who's going to get them? I bet they're going to go on the auction block, and they're going to be bought for pennies by, let's see now, this, King Henry Paulson, he's the former head of which one of those? Goldman Sachs? Yeah, Goldman Sachs, one of the few remaining standing. 10-1, Goldman Sachs is going to get a good deal on some of these things. So if you have any extra time between now and, say, the end of the month, come on down to Washington, because there's going to be a lot of stuff going on. David made a reference to something that's going to happen early tomorrow morning. And we're going to have some veterans that are going to make a major statement at a federal facility tomorrow. So we hope that the news will cover that. Tomorrow morning also, Secretary of Defense Gates is talking about strategies in Afghanistan and Iraq. And that's another time that your voice can be heard. Citizens can go to these hearings. You can go in there, and if you feel so moved, you can stand up and say something. You certainly can. You can stand up and say, don't confirm William Haynes, General Counsel of the Department of Defense, one of the authors of torture. Don't confirm him as a lifetime judge. The reward for his writing out those torture memos. And you can say that. That's what I did a year and a half ago. I did get arrested for it. But, it's important to stand up and say that. And it turned out he did not get confirmed. He was not confirmed. You would be be sad to know that after he finally left government just a couple of months ago, he now is the general counsel to Chevron Oil. Oh, yeah, yeah. And this Douglas Feith is coming into your community. You know, he's the one that General Tommy Franks, the head of the Central Command during the invasion of Iraq, or the invasion of Afghanistan, and then the invasion of Iraq, Tommy Franks said, Douglas Feith is one of the stupid effing people I've ever met in my whole life. I mean, that's what the general said to a public audience, and it's in his book. He may be the dumbest one, but boy, I'll tell you, he's caused a lot of trouble. He too was part of this architect of torture. And he is one of the ones that we need to hold accountable. So I would plead with you to please, on October 27th, to give him a nice little Charlottesville welcome. To go in there and let him know what you think about his policies. And you know, he's at Georgetown University. He's got one of these it's a temporary thing. What do you call it? Like a ad nauseum professor. Short-term professor, adjunct, that's right. Well, let him know, I mean, and let Georgetown know. I mean, how outrageous is that that guy causes so much disaster in this world, and he's a part of a major educational institution. And when he comes here, I hope you let him know in that educational institution what you think about him. So there's a lot of things that we have to be doing now. I mean, I know that we're tired. I mean, here the war in Iraq's been going on for 5.5 years, the war in Afghanistan, 7.5 years. People are tired. People are tired, but not everybody is. You all came out tonight. There are the core group of people who are the ones that will spearhead what we have to continue to go on, to continue to confront authority that's out of control. One might say it's no longer an authority when it's out of control. That it's we, the people, that have got to take this on. And we've got, I mean, nobody knows the answer. What it's going to be that will end this war in Iraq. What it will be that will turn the tide on how the U.S. approaches people who take offensive action at us rather than invading a country like Afghanistan. Was there a different way that the United States could have gone after criminal acts directed against the United States? Criminal acts that will probably occur again because we as a country are doing nothing to let the people of the world know that we are changing, that we are not going to continue to be the warmongers that we have been. So it takes a lot of effort. We'll have to continue it. We must. It's our obligation. It's our responsibility as citizens to do it. And as those people who are tired now and have kind of dropped out of the Charlotte Peace and Justice Center, and you know, people have to step back sometimes. But it doesn't mean that they're not interested, and it doesn't mean that they aren't still very, very concerned. So do continue to email them, call them. They will be there when we need them for sure. So I want to thank all of you all for taking the time to be here tonight, to keep in mind all of those things that we've been working on for the last 7.5 years. We have made some progress on a lot of them. This house of cards is falling. I mean, we've seen the economic house of cards, it's fallen. Tragically, millions of Americans have been hurt by this, of men and women and families that no longer have homes because the system that was set up by the corporate interests to suck every penny out and then, I think, purposely let the house fall. Those men and women are the ones that we need to be protecting. And if you're spending $700 billion, there ought to be an amendment in there that says everybody that's lost their homes because of these things, they get help. And it's not just the billionaires, it's the people of America that get help. So, whatever cell phone time, minutes you have left on your cell phone, boy, just get it revved up tomorrow. Keep calling every one of those offices about don't give away our money, don't give away another $700 billion. We got people that are really needing that money, and let's make sure we take care of them before we take care of the billionaires. So I want to thank you all very, very much. We will win. There's no doubt about that. We aren't going to win as fast as we want to. Men and women of our military are still dying in Afghanistan and Iraq, and the Afghans and the Iraqis are still dying in large numbers. Huge numbers, 4 million of them out of Iraq are now displaced, either internally or externally. It's a real mess the United States has caused. But it's people like you all that will be there to push this next administration to make sure that we end these wars, that we don't start any more wars, and that we take care of our own people. Thank you.